In 2021, over 360,000 people left California in what many are calling the California exodus.
Okay, taxes.
Leaving for states like Texas, Arizona, and Washington.
I knew
but
it.
a rising number of them are migrating out of the country altogether
Okay.
and instead heading south of the border. Today, more and more Americans are leaving the hustle and bustle of California for a relaxed, more affordable lifestyle in Mexico.
We were able to cut our budget in half, which allowed us to really focus on our careers and the things we wanted to do artistically without having to just like hustle and hustle and hustle every day, every week, every month to just meet the bare minimum.
Okay, yeah, but you're destroying the local economy. I'm going to be honest here, bro. That's what you're doing. Like, I mean, if you move anywhere with California money, even within the United States of America, you're going to immediately realize, all right, how you are pricing out people that have been there consistently for a very long time. And when you start bidding on property, like in middle America, out of nowhere, what do you start seeing, guys? All right. People are no longer able to stay in that area. Then obviously the local politics start changing, another thing. But if we're talking specifically about Mexico, though, bro, you are going to completely wreck whatever town you're moving into. If a gigantic amount of Californians move to Mexico, that's a problem. They're not going to like that. Right? The locals are not going to be able to afford to live there.
California's population growth has been declining for over 30 years now. But thanks to the rise in remote work due to the COVID-19 pandemic, those trends have accelerated. The ability to work anywhere has 62% of Americans considering moving to a new country.
What's the options, right? What, Kansas, Utah, whatever. I mean, really, it's the options aren't that great. I mean, especially if you're from California.
And while some Californians are able to make the move by working remotely, others are living in Mexico, but still commuting to work daily in California.
There's a lot of people commuting who actually live in Mexico,
But why do Californians all kind of look the same, guys? I don't know. They have like the same like aesthetic vibe about themselves. I can't explain it, bro. I don't know. I just can't. I can't put my finger on it exactly. Right? They just all kind of look like they all like visually kind of look different, right? But they kind of all look the same, guys.
Work in the States, so it's like.
It's a smugness, maybe.
Thousands of people just crossing daily. It's a lot of people.
However, many critics argue that Americans are driving up the cost of housing for locals and pricing them out of the market.
Absolutely.
So just how long will this migration trend last? And what are the consequences?
Wreck a whole country, small town.
When it comes to U.S.-Mexico migration, most Mexicans move to the U.S. to improve their lives economically. But a lesser-known fact is that historically, Americans have flocked to Mexico for the same reason. After Mexico won its independence from Spain in 1821, thousands of legal and illegal American immigrants settled into northern Mexico in search of land, trade, and agricultural opportunity. And when Mexico abolished slavery in 1829, a few routes of the Underground Railroad ran south into Mexican Texas.
Yeah, and then they went straight to La Costa Chica.
It's estimated that about 5,000 to 10,000 slaves escaped into Mexico.
Yes, South Mexico.
By the mid-1840s, Americans outnumbered Mexican Californios in the northern part of Alta California, which was Mexican territory at the time. Shortly after, the California Gold Rush began, and 30,000 people from all over the world poured into California in search of treasures. Just days after the California Gold Rush began, the Mexican-American War ended, giving California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Nevada, and Utah to the U.S. It wasn't until 1924 that the U.S. Border Patrol was created, and since then, millions of Americans have visited, vacationed, and relocated to Mexico. As of 2020, 800,000 Americans are living in Mexico. These migrants can be divided into three categories: retirees, working professionals, and the biggest share of the population, the Mexican Americans returning to their roots.
Right. There's also a parallel migration, of course, from U.S. citizen children that are being returned or that are returning to Mexico with their parents, who many of them are Mexican citizens and are being either repatriated or deported to Mexico as well. These U.S. citizens make up about 2/3 of the U.S. immigrant population in Mexico, and so therefore their futures and the children growing up and integrating into Mexican society is an important factor.
The rising migration of U.S. citizens is giving way to increasing investments and development, which in turn creates opportunity for more Americans to make the move. The rising cost of living is perhaps one of the biggest drivers behind this phenomenon. California ranks number 2 in the country's most expensive states to live in, according to a study by Credit Karma.
For our one-bedroom apartment in North Hollywood, we were paying $1,600 a month, and that was just for the rent alone. And there we had a car, so that included car insurance and car payment and all of those kinds of things that you have to pay for. And so just the rent alone, we're paying half of that.
We moved in November of 20.
Yeah, but you're paying half of it now. But again, what are the locals paying? Like, what were the locals paying before you came and basically drove the price up? I get it. I hear what you're saying. Everything is cheaper. Yay, this is amazing, right? But I don't think you fully grasp the problem here. You are wrecking the local economy by your presence, by being able to say, you know what? Yeah, this is super cheap for me. But the locals would have to work 3 months to pay your 1 month Guys, this is crazy, bro. Like, they can no longer live here, right? But I get it. Now you're in Mexico, right? In a full-blown, like Americanized town where everyone is American around you. So what exactly is going on here, bro? Then understand how supply and demand works generally, right? So you're going to now get more Americans coming in here to now raise the price to the point where you're just like, well, I might as well go back home. All in the meantime, you now have nothing that made the country at all, guys.
The 20s, so it was still kind of like in the thick of COVID-19 and the pandemic before the vaccines. So our rent is about $850 a month, which includes 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a music studio for David. We have a pool and a clubhouse area, 24-hour security with a guard at a gate.
Oh, I know.
Going from a 1-bedroom where we were like on top of each other to having different spaces to work has been like life-changing.
And to do that half of the price
Right.
was mind-blowing.
Real estate in
Listen, I agree. Half the price, great. My first apartment in Malaga, Spain was 350 euros, where the backyard was basically led into the Mediterranean Sea. I get it, bro. Everything is cheaper outside of the United States of America. Fact.
California is getting more expensive and more competitive. The median price for a home in California is about $800,000. Only 25% of California households could afford that in the fourth quarter of 2021.
Here in Baja, we offer a more affordable alternative, bigger prices, and what a lot of people tend to say is that we have a better quality of life.
There's a better quality of
traffic,
life by default. Yes.
Sunny days.
You're right. You're not wrong.
Beautiful beaches.
Unlike the jobs in California, Mexico's wages are low and labor is cheap. The minimum wage in California is $15 per hour.
I thought it was higher than that.
The minimum wage in the majority of Mexico is 172 pesos per day, which is equivalent to about $8.
$8 a day. So what you're saying is, okay, so there's almost three months. Let's go even harder. No, bro. What is the chance of you being able to basically afford, like an actual native being able to afford that property if they're making $8 a day, bro? $850 a month? You're crazy.
For comparison, 1 hour of working in California is equivalent to almost 2 whole work days in Mexico.
We do want to say, like, we understand how lucky and fortunate we are to be able to earn in dollars and spend in pesos.
Right. I mean,
so we do recognize that that's like an incredible privilege. And we're super grateful to be here and to be able to do that.
You feel grateful?
Healthcare is another important
factor. I thought privilege was bad. What happened here?
The U.S. spends much more on healthcare than any other country.
They just say whatever they're saying they feel at the moment.
Overall, its performance and quality ranks last among the highest income countries.
You know, I got dental work and stuff like that. I mean, Mexico's responsible for saving my teeth.
I went to an allergist in LA and was told I did not have enough money to afford the allergy shots that I actually needed. And that was one of the first appointments I made in Mexico was with an allergist and a dermatologist. And not only can I afford allergy shots here, but like my allergist coordinates with the dermatologist who coordinates with our primary care physician.
Right.
Yeah, I had to
I know.
get hard contacts and braces. I felt very cared for, and it was very easy to access these kinds of things that I know I could not get the contacts that I needed.
You're not
So
wrong
expensive.
in this instance.
We thankfully were able to do that here.
Since the pandemic, migration trends to Mexico have accelerated. COVID-19 has made remote work the new normal, prompting many to move out of big cities and into more affordable ones.
The pandemic really changed the dynamic, but because folks suddenly, the cost of taxes in the U.S., the crime rates, the politics, all the things that people are unhappy with in California are wanting to come down to Mexico and suddenly realizing, gee, I can, as long as I got good internet, I can come to Mexico and live in a condo and stare at the ocean and take care of my work and enjoy a different lifestyle.
This is the U.S.-Mexico border in Tijuana. Every day, about 200,000 people commute between the two countries. Many of them work in California and live just below the border in Baja California due to its proximity. Take Tony Smith, for example. She works in San Diego, but lives 9 miles away in Tijuana.
Yeah, I figured they were treating it like a bedroom city, if that makes any sense here. These border towns, another super crazy border town around the world would be a small city named La Línea in Spain, in the south of Spain, and Gibraltar. So the Rock of Gibraltar. People live in Gibraltar. No. They work in Gibraltar and work in La Línea, which is just literally you can walk across the border to the town, right? So if that's what they're doing, then it makes sense. Because I would suspect that people are doing this all day long.
I still work in the States. I'm a coach over at a community college, and all of my business is in the States. So I commute daily back and forth.
The wait to get through the border ranges from a few minutes to a few hours.
If you're driving or walking.
To avoid the longer wait times during rush hour, Tony drops her car off in a parking structure by the border and walks the rest of the way.
Yeah, I figured that.
On days that are not heavy traffic, I'll drive. And then days where it's really hectic, the average Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, those are the busy days. I will leave my car and I'll just walk. It's easy getting into Mexico. It's just the difficult part, getting out of Mexico, which can take hours. But I learned.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Commute by foot. It drops my commute time at least by 2 hours.
Real estate agents in Baja California
Same thing in Gibraltar.
are also seeing an increase in people looking to buy property who don't necessarily want permanent residency in Mexico.
I would say at least half are probably coming down from California. There's a lot of folks that have second homes down here, vacation homes and or rental properties down here that come from Southern California.
Yeah, they Airbnb them.
Critics of this migration trend say that Americans are buying or renting property in Mexico at a premium and pricing locals out of the market.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that I think of when I see these type of things specifically. And this is kind of why when I moved to Spain, I made sure not to kind of engage in this type of activity, if that makes any sense here. I just wanted an apartment that was common typical of the region. I didn't want to be around British people or Americans. I didn't want to be around anyone. I wanted to be around people that were from there, if that makes any sense here. Because you get a better experience when you do that there. And you also kind of get a decent price. I know as an American, I probably paid 50 euros more, let's say, than other people did, because again, they couldn't run my background really. But long story short, live with the people if you're going to be in another place.
Certain neighborhoods are now becoming too expensive for Mexican citizens to live in, because most of the times people that are actually buying these property developments or buying even, say, an apartment are being able to do so because they either make money in US dollars or because they're working remotely.
For those on temporary visas, working remotely allows them to continue paying their taxes to the US without paying any to Mexico. And there are some parts of Mexico known as the Taurus Libre Zone. where visas go unchecked
Of
under
course.
the radar.
And they
It
stay there
appears that Americans who spend
forever.
their money in Mexico are still contributing to the country's economic growth.
They are
It's
large
just
scale.
a dog-eat-dog world. And I get why a lot of Mexicans, they want better for their families. So they're trying to get across the border to America, while the Americans are doing the total opposite. I feel as though like the money that we're bringing in can definitely help build better roads. Which is definitely helping.
You're
the
making
economy,
excuses.
not just-
You're making excuses for being predatory. Listen, I hear you. I get it. You can basically justify anything, Californian, okay? You're trying to justify any single thing you possibly can, but just understand this here. You knew you could not, factually, you could not live, all right, how you are living in Mexico right now with your California money in California. Just say that here. Okay. Just say that you are being predatory on the local community. That's what you're doing here. Stop making excuses.
bringing in the dollars so that they can put it into, whatever it is that they want to put it into.
It's super important to us to
Because it
mitigate
benefits you. Everything is fine.
economic impact wherever we go, and we try to do that by highlighting local groups and services, small businesses, and we're super conscious of where we spend our money.
Some argue the communities where Americans are moving to are not the same as the ones where locals reside.
They're
Those
not.
areas have less crime, are
Of
more
course.
expensive,
Armed
and
guards.
tend to be closer to beaches and other tourist attractions.
The foreigners or the Americans are only going to live in certain places.
Right.
And these places are primarily targeted towards Americans. The local Tijuana people are not going to live in these places.
They can't afford
there's
it.
high-rise buildings and
Yeah.
stuff like that. The apartment I had last time that had a full desk set up for remote working, office chair, everything. This was not something set up for a Mexican family. This was something set up to
For a
target
foreigner.
foreigners to come
Yeah.
over and work remotely.
While American dollars have contributed to recent developments in Mexico, there are some setbacks to the rapid expansion. Supply chain issues are rising as demand beats out supply.
It's making development increase, certainly, but it's also making development be less accessible to some of their most needed areas. Like in California, for example, where we have really a shortage of housing, which has actually led to the significant increase in prices in California. There's a similar
course.
bubble of lack of new construction in Mexico. And when that construction is focused on unattainable incomes for Mexican citizens, you're in some ways perpetuating the same bubble that we're seeing in California for housing, but now in Mexico as well.
Yeah, that's why I said it was predatory. She's trying to make excuses specifically, like, hey, this is a great thing for me personally. But it's really interesting how your morals and ethics change immediately when you are the beneficiary of this. Okay, this is excessively predatory what you're doing here.
In order to combat the number of low-income Californians leaving the state, affordable housing developments are beginning to make headway. In September of 2021,
This
California's
guy.
governor signed a series of bills to complement the California Comeback Plan, which invests $22 billion in affordable housing and homelessness. The wealthy are leaving California too. Some fear that mass departures by the state's billionaires and tech companies could reduce local and state tax revenues. Just 1% of California's top income earners are responsible for half of all income tax revenue.
Wait, I thought they didn't pay their fair share of taxes. What are you talking about? I thought they didn't pay that. Never mind.
Those drops could have the potential to affect government services for years to come. And in Baja California, recent spikes in housing demand could cause the country to run out of supply.
I've talked to a lot of agents down here and folks that have been in this industry, 20 years or more. And a lot of them are all saying, this is the first time in the last 20 years that people are really significantly worried about our lack of inventory down here. There's a lot more things being built and trying to come up with things to sell to people.
As Mexico sees an influx of immigrants and increasing housing prices, there are mixed opinions about the future of current U.S.-Mexico migration trends.
But at the same time, it's bringing, opening up new businesses. It's driving money into Mexico. It
is
creating tourism,
but it's predatory
and money for small businesses. People are still going to be wanting to come down here more than ever, and I don't see prices going down anytime soon.
A good amount of the people that actually go and do this, try this, do return home within 90 days. maybe your boss don't like this, maybe your car registration don't like this. There is problems that exist for doing this. So the turnover rate for this
Did it have any problems?
is pretty quick.
For now, Californians are continuing to leave the state, and Mexico is welcoming them with open arms.
I mean, listen. They're going to chase the money, and that's it here. That's what they're doing here. Of course, they're going to say, hey, listen, Americans, with your California or any other random place in America, money, please come here. You're going to facilitate a lot of, prop up a lot of local economies, but it's going to be to the detriment of the people that you should be worried about, if that makes any sense here, right? Worry about your place, right? Mexico, Scheinbaum, worry about your country. Okay. The same way we're worrying about ours right now, if that makes any sense here. Like nothing changes here. Maybe you shouldn't allow these super wealthy Americans to come into your country, move here, move there specifically, and then displace like massive amounts of residents because now these people here could pay $850 a month on rent while the average Mexican is making $8 a day. They cannot afford these things. Okay, worry about your community. Fix that rather than the corruption of getting kickbacks for allowing rich Americans to basically move into your country. Okay, understand this here. Worry about your people. That's important. Okay, that's it. You're a sovereign nation. Act like it. Right? Just like how we are acting like it right now by shutting all this stuff down. That makes any sense here? Worry about your own country. It's completely fine. I am not angry. I would not be angry at all. Right? With you saying, hey, listen, Americans, if you come in here, we're going to go ahead and tariff you. Okay? If you say, hey, listen, that apartment now is going to be 3 times that amount. Stop displacing the locals. I'm telling you. But great video here. Great conversation I think we can have here about the predatory nature of like the super wealthy going into impoverished areas and then just completely turning things around. I would say kind of large scale, and the actual locals are suffering. Oh yeah. Great conversation there. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings. And we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry, right? Listen, like and subscribe.